Good evening everybody, this is Stephen House and this is Full Time Devils and this is tomorrow's transfers today. The video where we go through all of tomorrow's transfer rumours so you don't even have to bother checking them out in the morning. The first one that we're going to talk about is Ryan Sessegnon, the Fulham fullback left back. Made his debut at 16. Very impressive. I do like the look of him, and there's talk that Manchester United are in there, so are Spurs as well, for him, looking to sign him and potentially loan him back to Fulham for this season, which I think would be a really good idea, because he's not going to get first team experience. He is currently getting first team experience, so why would we not do that? I think Sessegnon would be a fantastic addition. Obviously not somebody that's going to be involved in the first team just yet, but definitely someone for the future and definitely one that we should probably keep an eye on. Marcus McGuane. I'm sorry if I'm spelling or pronouncing this guy wrong. It's an Arsenal youth player. He's 18 years old. United have been linked with him, but it seems like one of those links, this is in the Independent, where they have no idea where he's going. They've linked him to Juventus, Napoli, United and City. So that's a case of his agent's probably told some journalist, we're trying to get him out of Arsenal, and they've gone, cool, I know who we can link him to. So I know nothing about this guy, I don't have any idea if he's any good, but just from the clubs that have been linked, I'm going to say this is a load of rhubarb. Next one that we have got is Zlatan. Contract talks this week in People's Person. The Mirror of going on, it's on the back page of The Star. The Star are talking about a pay cut for him. There's rumour of 175 grand a week. That's alright. I'm sure he's going to pay his rent at the end of the week, but yeah, that's a significant pay cut from someone that was supposedly on somewhere in the region of about 400k. So this is a big pay cut for Zlatan. Is that going to be a pay cut in line with what we're expecting to see from him this season? Was his pay predicated last season on the fact that he would be the main man when fit, he starts first choice, and now are we telling him, we negotiate with him and saying, you're going to be second fiddle to Lukaku, you're going to fill in when we feel like he needs a rest, you're going to come off the bench and see games out for us. If that's the case and that's what Zlatan's happy with, then happy days. Because I wonder what the expectations of Zlatan is going into this. I worry about what the expectations of Zlatan are going into this. He has probably got the biggest ego in football. Now, if we can make him happy to sit on the bench and play second fiddle to Lukaku, that's a massive bonus for us. Otherwise, we are potentially opening ourselves up for a massive headache that we didn't need, ultimately. So, as long as he's aware that he is second choice to Lukaku and he's going to be brought in to rest up Lukaku, to see games out and all that sort of stuff, then happy days. If not, that's not a good one. So the People's Person mentioned that he's getting a contract this week. It does feel, the BBC also mentioned it today as well, it feels like we're only days away from an announcement about Zlatan. The Mirror are going with Baye on Instagram, obviously kicking his butt and hitting him in the arm, saying, I'll be ready for your return. It seems like all the players know. There was a reason Zlatan stayed around the club. There was clearly a reason why Zlatan chose to do his rehab here. And I think he's looked at those first two games of Manchester United this season and gone, do you know what? If I'm going to get a title medal in England, this is my best chance to get it at the moment. Let's have it. Let's have another year contract or 8-month contract, 9-month contract, whatever it ends up being. And I think it's a good move from United. I'm sure United would have liked to have kept him around after the Europa win last season, but there was just too much of a risk on how he would come back at this age, having him on a contract. So it's probably worked out best for all parties in the end, which is a good thing. Obviously, big shout out to Wayne Rooney scoring his 200th Premier League goal. That's phenomenal. Well done to Wayne, and also well done for getting a point there at City. It was unfortunate that they didn't manage to get all 3 points. I was really hoping they'd hold out, but wasn't to be. And the last one that we have got is Luke Shaw and Ashley Young are back. They both played 58 minutes tonight for the under-23s. Jose wasn't in attendance. He was at the Manchester City and Everton game. They both looked alright. No one looked spectacular, no one looked bad. They just both looked alright. So I think as long as there's been no adverse reaction to that, I would expect to see both of those lads lining up or possibly in and around the first team squad come weekend, hopefully. So let's see what you guys are saying in the comments. Just someone with Zlatan, someone mentioning 4-3-4-1-2. You can't play midfield 4 with Pogba, I don't think it works. Andrew says Wayne Rooney is world class. I would have said was, undoubtedly. A hair under one of the best players in the world. I wouldn't say he's world class at the moment. I've seen people commenting on Twitter saying that we should never have sold him. Well, I've got to ask you, who does he replace in this team at the moment? It was the right time for him to go. Aguero is in the wrong sport. He should be a diver. I'm seeing City fans losing their mind on Twitter as well about the Kyle Walker second yellow. Well, ultimately, he went towards the player. He looked at him and he went towards him. That's a foul. He doesn't need to raise his arm. If he raises his arm, it's violent conduct. But he's gone to the player and he's obstructed the player. That is a foul. He's nowhere near the ball. He hasn't played the ball. He's fouled him. Now, City fans losing their mind have got a short memory because they clearly don't remember Fellaini not headbutting Aguero, do they? Absolute muppets. Blind isn't good enough at fullback, and we can't rely on Shaw, says Joe B. I think Blind is a decent fullback. There is probably, certainly better out there. And why can't you rely on Shaw? If Shaw comes back to the level that he was at prior to the leg break, of course you can rely on him. Wembley is going to kill Spurs, says Tom. Yeah, I think that's a good shout. There's something in the end. I think they've had 8 defeats in 11 matches there, which is bad. Am I wearing an Adidas Chelsea shirt? Clearly not. No, it's just a t-shirt. Relax. What's wrong with you people? City fans are the ones that are adverse to colours with their blue ketchup and all that sort of stuff. We're confident in what we are at Manchester United fans. I can wear blue. Don't you worry about it, mate. Would I take winning the league if it lost the 80-year youth record in the meantime? No. We've won 20 titles. That youth record can't be returned. So no, I would not take that. That youth record is unique in football. You can have all the titles you want. You can have 50 titles like Real Madrid. They haven't got a youth record like us, and I'm proud of our youth record, and I would absolutely keep it. No problem. Full-Time Devils are commenting. We are here Monday to Friday, 11 p.m, correct, talking about tomorrow's transfers today. Right until the window closes, we'll be here. Luke Shaw did well today. Do you think he's going to play for us soon? He might get 10 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that in the first team. I don't think he's going to get it just yet. I definitely think he's probably going to get a couple more sub appearances, maybe a full 90 in the reserves before he gets it. Let's be real. Keep your hats on 2 games is nothing. It isn't nothing. It's not nothing. But no, it's not. Certainly, you're not winning the league. I don't think anybody is claiming that we're winning the league. I think everyone's fairly chilled out about it. Lukaku and Zlatan equals Premier League and Champions League. That's a big call, mate. That is really a big call. Is Zlatan going to come back and demand a starting position? I hope not, mate, but I did cover that. Angel Gomez will rise, says Noah. I think he's got a massive season in the under-18s. I wouldn't expect to see him involved in the first team at all this season, to be honest. I reckon Young will be sold now that he's fit. I think if he was going to be sold, he probably would have been sold anyway. I think he'd probably be kept around at the moment, yeah. Do I see any more signings? I think it could go right down to the wire, yeah. I think Jose definitely wants one in. He's going to play it cool and say that he doesn't, but yeah, I think he would. He'd absolutely want one. Lukaku and Zlatan won't work, says James. I disagree, to be honest. I actually think that Zlatan and Lukaku could play together. I just don't think that they're going to play together. Rashford or Marshall, that's going to be the talking point all week long, isn't it? So I definitely think you're going to see more of that one. Would we consider a weekly video on all the lads out on loan? Maybe. We can see. 2 games means something when you're winning in style. Yes, that is the point. You've got to be excited and hopeful when you're looking at the performances. Last season, or season before, we was winning games and picking results up, but the performance wasn't there. And I would always favour a performance over a result over a long period. If you're just scratching wins and you're like, I don't know how we're winning, but we're winning, ultimately that's going to come to an end. Whereas I always think a performance, if you're playing at a level of a performance, you can be unlucky and not win. But I think the cream always rises to the top in that sort of stuff. Pereira to Valencia, I haven't seen anything further on it apart from that little rumour this morning, so I don't know, I'm afraid. What other positions do we need? We definitely need to fix what's going on at left back. I'm not going to say that we need a new left back, but we need to fix what we do at left back. So whether that is bringing somebody else in or giving Luke Shaw the patience that he needs, that's the one. Yitzhar says, I suggested playing Zlatan in the League Cup. What about bringing him in for the latter stages of the Champions League? You're assuming that we get to the latter stages of the Champions League. I think we have to manage Lukaku and not expect that he's going to play 65 games for us this season, providing we get the distance in all the competitions. So you just got to take it on a week-by-week basis. Does he look a little bit tired this week? Do we think we can play Zlatan and still win? Give the guy a break. Zlatan, go score a load of goals. Job's a good one. I wouldn't start thinking about what we're going to do in the quarterfinals of the Champions League just now. We got to get there first. How many goals do I think Pogba will score? He's definitely getting double figures, isn't he, this year? Absolutely, definitely going to be doing double figures this year. Tuanzebe for the first team. I will say Tuanzebe looked fantastic today. So cool, so calm. He's so fast and so quick getting back in position and covering strikers. And he is so ultimately composed on the ball. It's phenomenal to see. Luke Shaw is an injury prone and a wrist. He broke his leg. How can you say that he's injury prone from a leg break? And coming back from a leg break takes a long time. Look at Antonio Valencia. Look at anybody who's had a serious leg break. Who has come back from a leg break fast? When you get an injury like that, all your other muscles end up getting thrown out of balance. Just relax. He will get back to fitness, but you've got to be patient with him. You can't just expect to see him sorted. Is there any United players that can win a Ballon d'Or? I think Lukaku and Pogba easily could be in the contention for a Ballon d'Or. I think if Mkhitaryan upped his output to being 20, 25 goals and assists, he could easily be in the contention for that. I think United, here's the thing, right? If you're Barcelona or Real Madrid, your players can have an alright season and be in contention for Ballon d'Or. If you're anybody else in the world, there's probably Juventus players that should have picked it up in recent years with the way they got to the final and stuff like that. But if you're anybody else, you need to win everything, including the Champions League, to even get a sniff of being the Ballon d'Or winner. If you look at the last time it was won outside of Barcelona, Real Madrid, which I think was Ronaldo at United, and I think prior to that was Kaká at Milan. You've got to be Champions League winning to start, and you've got to have an exceptional season. So, I think to even think about Ballon d'Or, you can't just have a good season in the Premier League. You've got to be winning the Champions League. With that height, do we need a crosser of the ball, says Richard. 100% do we need a crosser of the ball. 100%. That's why I think we was looking at Perisic, and that's why I think the door is still open for somebody to come in. It's been really frustrating the last couple of weeks that you've been seeing Valencia and Blind not really getting forward and not really throwing balls into the box. That has been frustrating. How much out of 10 am I buzzing for Zlatan? I'm not that buzzing, to be honest. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm pretty level about it. 4 or 5 out of 10. I'm happy days. I'm glad that he's coming back. I think he can help bolster that area of the squad. But I don't think he's going to oust Lukaku from that first team. Liam McDyer says, still pisses me off that Rivaldo won it in 1999. Spoke about this on a podcast last week, and you can check out the podcast again this week. It goes up on Friday on the YouTube channel, or you can listen live to XS Manchester on Thursday night when we're doing it. Pretty sure this week's is going to be all about the Champions League draw, so let's hope we get someone juicy in the Champions League draw, and then we'll be talking about it. But yes, spoke about this on the Full Time Devils podcast last week, and what we were saying is Rivaldo won it without getting out of the group stage. Now, who gets knocked out in the group stage and wins a Ballon d'Or? That must have been the last time it happened. In 1999, David Beckham was the best player in the world. Now, I see some people say, he wasn't even the best player at United. Well, he was. It was the most consistent and the most productive out of all of those players across the whole course of the season. Fact. And he came second in the Ballon d'Or to Rivaldo, who did not get out of the group stage with Barcelona. Thanks to what? Oh, a David Beckham goal. How about that? David Beckham assists in all the other group games. David Beckham was on another level. People forget just how good David Beckham was because his celebrity takes over it. But you know what? David Beckham was an unbelievable footballer. And that's why he was so famous. I don't know if it has happened since. It might have happened with Michael Owen when he won it. I don't know where Liverpool came in that year, but, whatever. Fellaini to win the Ballon d'Or. I don't think it's going to happen. How about that? Call me going out on a limb there, but I don't think it's going to happen. Marshall has to come into the starting 11. What about if I said to you, just playing devil's advocate, what if the way that Rashford is playing in terms of the way he's dogging the defence and he's dogging that fullback and he's making them work and all that sort of stuff, if he's softening up the defence with his work rate and with his determination, with his attitude, for then allowing Marshall to come on in the last 15, 20 minutes and just go and get a goal? What if that's a tactic? That might be a tactic from us. But apart from that, yeah, I would agree that I think Marshall has earned himself a starting place. What team am I most scared of getting in the Champions League group stage? Nobody. I am not scared of anybody in the Champions League. I think Barcelona are going through a little bit of a mini crisis at the moment. And I actually think that if City aren't successful this season, and they don't look like they're going to be, to be fair, if City aren't successful this season, then I can definitely see Guardiola being tempted to go back to Barcelona before the end of this season, because I definitely think they're going to be getting rid of Valverde during the season because it's not going right for them. They've just lost a star player. They don't look like they're signing anybody. All of their top stars are coming to an age where it's going to finish for them. So I could see Guardiola going back to Barcelona. And I could see them throwing untold mental sums of money at him. And I think that'd be hilarious. Yeah, I'm not scared of anybody. I think you've got to say, if you get Real Madrid, then yeah, that's going to be a tough one. They've shown us in the Super Cup just how much we're away from them. But, you know, I don't think we're a top-tier European side yet, but over 2 matches, I fancy our chances. I fancy us getting... If we get Bayern Munich or Real Madrid or somebody like that in the group stage, we don't have to beat them to progress. But I fancy our chances, certainly at home as well, of getting results and progressing through the group stage. Now, if we meet them later on, you don't know what sort of circumstances they're going to come at you in. Injuries, suspensions, tiredness, all that sort of stuff can play a factor. And we got Jose Mourinho. This is a guy that has won it with teams that were not as good as the team that he's got at Manchester United now. This Inter Milan side, I think in hindsight, it was a very good side. Is it as good as or as potent as this United side? I'm going to say no. Whereas this Porto side, it was a good Porto side, but is it as potent as this Manchester United side is right now? I'm going to say no. So I think if he can win it with those teams, then he can exceed expectations with this Manchester United side. So there you go. That will wrap it up, I think. Make sure to check out the podcast this week and go and check out the podcast on YouTube. So stay on YouTube as soon as you finish this and check the podcast out if you've not already. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back again at 11 tomorrow, and we're going to be live at dinner time as well with a big debate talking about who should be in defence for Manchester United. That's live at 12 if you want to join us on the YouTube channel. Until then, I'll see you in a bit.